there's a lot going on. But we got this, and we know you need your refund more than ever. So H&R Block is here for you. You can either drop off your docs, file online, or work with a tax pro remotely. Block is always here to help.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
A dragon lives in my house. No one would believe me if I told them, but it's true. Dragons sleep most of the time, but you never know when they'll wake up. You can't relax, not even for a second. If you have a dragon in your house, you need to be good at hiding. I'm a really good hider.
Good afternoon, and welcome to CASA of Linn County's first ever East Linn County virtual luncheon. I'm so excited and I'm so relieved that all of us are able to connect virtually today, as this has been a challenging year for everyone with COVID-19 and the wildfires. But I'm so relieved that we're all able to connect today to support children in foster care. Because before COVID-19, children have been victims of abuse and neglect. And after this pandemic is over, children unfortunately will continue to be victims of abuse and neglect if we don't get together and help keep them safe and support CASA of Linn County. Because my name is Josh Groves, and I'm the new director of CASA of Linn County, and our vision is that no child has to hide. And our mission is to serve every child in foster care with a court-appointed special advocate. And so I am so grateful for our over 70 CASAs that are in action today supporting over 100 kids in foster care. And we need your help because there's still kids on our wait list. And so become a CASA today. Check out our website, linncasa.org, for more information. We hope to do a training. Thank you, Robin Gardner, for being our trainer. We hope to do a training in January 2021 virtually so we can recruit more CASAs to support more kids in foster care. And I might have been raised in Benton County, but I spent a lot of time in Linn County having a lot of fun at Willamette Speedway, at the drive-in, at Green Peter. And so I'm excited to be back in Linn County helping kids in foster care because I used to be a kid once and I made mistakes, but I always had my parents, Nancy and Jerry Groves, there by my side, supporting me, believing in me. But our kids in foster care, some of them, they might not have their parents. They might not have that adult by their side, believing in them, giving them hope. But they might have a CASA who advocates for their best interests, who looks out for their safety and looks out for their physical health and their emotional well-being. And so that is what makes CASA of Linn County, is our CASAs that advocate for these kids in foster care. They need our help. They need your help. And so donate. Go to text advocate the number 4, a child, to 44321 today to go to our contribution page and donate. Every dollar helps. $100 helps us train a new advocate. $2,500 helps sponsor a CASA for a child for an entire year. And $25 helps cover a background check for a CASA. And so we can get them sworn in and appointed to a child today. So help us. And thank you for coming to our luncheon, because I'm excited to introduce 2 CASAs, a board member and a community member that support CASA. And so thank you for all your help. Thank you, Island Station Media Labs. Thank you to Left Door Streaming. And thank you to all the volunteers that have helped put this together. Thank you to our amazing staff at CASA. Thank you to all our CASAs. And thank you to our sponsors who are helping CASA of Linn County stay sustainable. And we'll talk more at the end of the show about how you can help CASA of Linn County stay sustainable. And so I'd like to introduce 2 of our CASAs, Jeannie and Joanne.
Jeannie Davis, Dr. Jeannie Davis from Comp Northwest. I've been a member of the Lebanon community for quite a long time. I work at the university in community outreach and engagement, and I've been a CASA for about 2 years.
And I'm Joanne McQuarrie from Sweet Home. which is in East Linn County, in case you're wondering. And I do quite a bit of volunteer work, and I'm proud to say that my official title is Court-Appointed Special Advocate.
I decided to be a CASA about 2 years ago after attending one of the CASA Ask Lunches. The CASA at our table was really engaging on the full-time job that he had and the work that CASA did. I learned about CASA many years ago when my children are young. This just seemed to be a good time, and I had the time and energy to put forward to be a mentor for other youth. I think anybody that has a heart for youth and seeing their success should also become a CASA advocate.
I became a CASA at a point in my life when I was available to do it, though I've volunteered in many different ways for many, many years, but worked in the legal field and with law enforcement. So when I wasn't employed there anymore, it was time for me to sign up to be a CASA.
As a CASA, my role in CASA as an advocate is for the youth. I love being a CASA advocate for children that are 5 years and younger, and my most meaningful memory is to be able to walk with them to court and be at their side when they have to engage with their parents after a long time away from them, and being that support system for them.
So one of the cases that I had the honor to be assigned to was a 5-year-old child who had some serious behavior challenges, and his family, his mom and dad, were having difficulty parenting. And one of the things I was able to do to help that family reunite was to advocate for the parents with DHS. The father had a full-time job, which lots of our parents don't, and he was being required to take off work to attend these family meetings, and so his job was in jeopardy, and so I encouraged the DHS to rearrange their schedule to meet his.
Nice.
Ultimately, that's not why the family was reunited, but they did all of their work and were successful. I think part of what makes an individual a good advocate is having a heart of service. So always looking for opportunities to help other people, which we all know there's no end to that. And just being proactive, knowing that what you do makes a difference in someone's life.
The advice that I would have if you are looking to be a CASA, and I encourage you to all become a CASA advocate, is to take the training to really know what you're getting into, what the youth need as far as mentorship and support.
Here's what I would say. If someone's thinking about being a CASA, a lot of times you hear they're reluctant. They don't know what the system is like or about. And I can tell you this, you don't need to know. There's plenty of educational opportunities and plenty of volunteer coordinator support to make you successful in that. I would not hesitate. Go team.
If you don't have the time to commit to be a CASA advocate, you can always support CASA. We're looking for monetary donations. We're looking for time donations within the CASA organization and supplies donations. We do a pajama drive and a school supplies drive. And so we're always looking for support to help our youth and the foster families that are taking care of them.
And honestly, if you aren't of the mindset to become a court-appointed special advocate, there's no end to the ways that you can help. Easily and foremost, we always need money. Our hope is to serve every child in the foster system. At some point, we'd like to have 100% match with the children in need, but there are multiple ways that you can help, multiple ways. So if you have a talent, you don't want to be a CASA, let us know. One of the things that I've learned about children in foster care is that most of the relationships in their lives with adults, with relatives, with school, with caseworkers, medical staff, It's very inconsistent. It can be change, change, change. And when they're taken out of their home, even though temporarily, that's a trauma. People let them down. Kids who get a CASA get one CASA, and that CASA stays with the child for the duration of their engagement with DHS.
And even as those children are possibly placed back with their biological parents and then brought back into the system for one reason or another, that CASA becomes the CASA again. So that child, as they go through all of these transitions, whether it's in care or out of care, that CASA is still that constant person in their life.
Hi, I'm Chanel, and I am the new volunteer coordinator for CASA of Linn County. I'm a native Oregonian, and I love the Linn community. I recently moved here from Eugene, and I found CASA because I actually applied to be a volunteer first. I was in transition to moving to this community, and I have a heart for children in foster care. Previously, I've worked for a nonprofit adoption agency helping every waiting child in foster care nationwide get matched with their permanent and loving home. So I have experience and background with the foster care system in the adoption side. I also helped with several events, as well as I loved learning about our programs. We had a lot of programs focused on permanency for foster children. So it is my mission, my personal mission, to help our most vulnerable youth. And what draws me to CASA is this year. Honestly, 2020 has been hard on everybody. We've experienced COVID-19 and wildfires. A lot of us have had so many changes in our life. We may have been displaced, we may have been separated from our loved ones and our family members. And to be honest, children in foster care have been experiencing this long before 2020. And I want to be the difference to help them. I have never been in a position to be more empathetic and compassionate for the plight of a child in foster care. I really hope you join us today in helping changing a story for one child in foster care. I love my role as a volunteer coordinator. I get to learn so many new things about the child welfare system beyond my current knowledge. I get to engage with volunteer coordinators, offer them support through the court system so that they can do their role in advocating for a child's needs. And they advocate for educational plans. They may advocate for, reunification or permanency through adoption. They may advocate for so many things that can make a difference, from sports to extracurricular activities, to give a child an enriched life and to reach their full potential.
One of the best things that I love is being able to connect with a CASA who advocates for a child in foster care and meeting them for coffee. So this is a great way for us to visit their favorite places or to get to know new places and support our local businesses and community. So what I like to do is to offer them either a virtual option where we can Zoom and drink our favorite tea or coffee or anything and just connect face to face. Or we can meet and safely meet in a space that will allow us to talk over coffee. It's amazing that what a CASA can expect is to not pay for their coffee. It's kind of hard because they'll sneak up before me and just try to pay, and I'll just be like, wait a second. And so I just want to let you know that that's on us. That's our way of thanking you for your time and really a treat for you. This is about CASAs. This is about children in foster care. And that's really why we're here, is to support advocates who do the work that is so needed to help children from languishing within the child welfare system. I think the best advice I can give anyone who wants to volunteer for CASA of Linn County is to know that even though you may not be able to have the time right now, that doesn't mean that someday you can't. And so you can always plan for the future, because that's what we're doing here. We're advocating for a better, brighter future. You can stay involved on our Facebook page. You can share our message to other people who may be in a place You don't have to actually volunteer the whole 2-year commitment that we ask. You can volunteer for a single event. You can also donate your time by helping us a few hours a week, which is, or you can donate or make community connections for us to get books or blankets, pajamas, anything to help support us. But the best thing you can do is definitely become a CASA advocate. If you have the time and you have the interest, please reach out to us. Our volunteer coordinators are very experienced and very passionate about the work they do. And they're incredibly committed on making sure that you have the tools and the resources to make you successful. Because honestly, if you're successful, everything else is going to line up, and we're going to be able to help you through the good times and the bad times so that you can be a support for the children who need you the most. So to sign up for the next training, you can go on our website, and you can also give us a call and get a hold of our trainer. There are resources available on our website as well for you to learn about what it takes to be a CASA as well. But I really encourage you to reach out to us on our office phone. We are available, and we'd love to take your call. In the world that we live in today, 2020, we've had so many obstacles as adults, as a community, to overcome with COVID-19, the Oregon wildfires. We've been separated from our families and from our friends. We have overcome job losses or job changes, may have lost every possession that we have. Now more than ever, we are empathetic and compassionate for the plight of children that are in foster care. We can understand their journey through the child welfare system a little bit more. The thing that I've learned through my experience is that I am not having the same experience as a child in foster care. I may never really truly understand their full experience. And the best thing I can do, or anybody can do in the community, is to listen and to be compassionate and to give that child their voice. Advocating for a child who isn't an adult in the court, in the child welfare system, so that their voice is heard and their story is told, so that they can make a difference in their own lives through your advocacy. So I've learned that trauma is something that we can't change what happened, but we can make an impact on the future. I've learned that you may not be able to save the 450,000 children that are in child welfare in the United States. But how can you, unless you make that first step to change one child's life? Together, you and I, we can make a difference in a child's story.
Well, I live in Lebanon, but years ago, I moved to Oregon from the Bay Area. I came here to go to college back in 1986. And when I got here, I thought, oh my goodness, this is so rural. I am get my degree and get out of here, get back to California. And here I am in 2020. So I discovered that I really liked it up here in Oregon and the atmosphere. And then 20 years ago, I moved to Linn County, and I've been there since, and we love it. I like just the down-to-earth, not so much hustle and bustle, at least in this area. I'm sure, you get that in the bigger cities, but in the area where we're at, I just feel like it's just a little bit calmer. I like the smallness. Again, I was raised in, big city, Bay Area, so one city rolled into the next city, rolled into the next city. And I like our size and that we're sort of not isolated, but I feel like it's a great hub. If I want to go to Eastern Oregon or Central Oregon, it's just right there. If we want to go to Portland, it's like 2 hours everywhere you want to go. The beach. So I just feel like it's a great hub. And the people are just, down to earth and really enjoyable. Well, after I finished college, somehow I decided that I wanted to get into law enforcement. So in 1993, I was hired by the Corvallis Police Department, and I worked there for 25 years. I got to retire 2.5 years ago. So that's kind of a new experience for me. During my tenure at the police department, I did a variety of roles. I did, patrol. I did the school resource officer. I love that. I did 2 tours of that. And then for 9 years, I was in detectives, and my primary responsibility were child abuse investigations, both physical and sexual abuse. And that's kind of where I kind of found my expertise, even though it's a tough subject and tough to see the kiddos who are abused. I just happened to that was my niche, and I really enjoyed investigating and putting the perpetrators into prison. And I don't have any of my own children, so I think that makes a difference. I know some of my colleagues, it was tougher because they would see a young child and then they would see their child and that child. So I think it's tougher that way. So I think that was a little advantage for me. So I enjoyed it a lot. In fact, that's where I even learned about CASA. So we, during each week, our law enforcement and DA, we would meet twice a week. And at those meetings, we would only discuss about child abuse for all of Benton County. So we knew that everything that was going on between the sheriff's office, the city police, Philomath, North Albany, there's APD. So kids can get lost with different agencies. And so we decided to compile all that together and meet twice a week. And in that meeting, I learned about what a CASA was. And it really drew me to see that people were dedicated in and above their regular job, that they have to put in 40 hours a week, but that they are willing to take on a case with a child and help them through this whole process and be there for them. And I was really, I just thought it was really awesome that people were willing to give that part of themselves to somebody else. And that, there's that potential of the secondary trauma. If you yourself have never been exposed to children who have been abused, and now all of a sudden you're opening that up, that they were still willing, knowing that, hearing some of these stories could be hard, that they were still willing to give of their time and help all these kids. I'm currently on the board of directors. Years ago, when I was at the Corvallis Police Department, the Benton County CASA Carrie asked me if I would join. She thought having a law enforcement perspective on the board would be good. And then when I got there, that's when I kind of got the bug and realized what a great agency this is and what they do. I kind of knew what they did, but I didn't realize to the extent of what CASA does. And so when I left, though I still lived in Linn County, but worked in Benton County, when I retired, it was just too much. And I thought, I live in Linn County, I'm a city council for Lebanon, and I just felt like I should probably put my time with Linn County. So then that's when I applied here, and I was accepted about a year ago. And in the system, we have DAs who obviously are adjudicating cases and are, in the end, are looking out for the children. Many times the children are assigned attorneys, as well as their parents who are the offenders. But the CASA, their sole purpose is the child. They don't care about anything else, but they are objectively watching out for the child, and then they get to bring that information with no skew, no agenda from anybody else, and they get to bring that to the court, and the judge listens to that. Many times a CASA, that is the one stable thing in a child's life, because there's lots of chaos when this is happening for a child, and that I don't think that people realize. And that one person who's always checking in with them weekly, maybe several times during the week, they know that they have that relationship and can rely on that person. And that's why I think it's just so important. I've not, personally ever talked to a child who had a CASA, but from what I see, what the CASAs do, I can only imagine that would help. Especially, again, when I saw the children when I was doing my investigations for a short time, I was that constant person. But then, when the case went to court, then I was no longer there anymore. And then just knowing there was a CASA assigned to that child, and they're staying through the process, after the process, until there wasn't a need anymore. As a law enforcement officer, you don't get the feedback. You know, you do your job and you get out there and you get the kids out of these situations and you prosecute the suspects and they go off to jail. I knew my job was to do the best job I could, do good, clean investigations so that when it's time to go to court, that there wasn't a lot of wiggle room for the bad guys to get out of, and then they, were held accountable for their and got consequences for their behavior. But there was one in particular that I remember. One of my former colleagues moved down south and he got married. So I went down there. And as I was just at this wedding, I didn't know anybody down there other than my former colleague. And I had a young woman in her early 20s come up to me and tell me that, you probably don't remember me, but when I was a middle schooler, I got into some trouble. I was hurt and abused by somebody, and I was investigating the case, and I got her out of that situation. And, she said, you saved me out of that situation. And she remembered me after all this time. And for her to come up, to remember my name. I'm just some cop somewhere, right? And she moved on with her life and got the help that she needed. But for her to remember my name and then to come up to me, it was like I was shocked, actually. It was really impactful. I felt like, wow, okay, so this is why I do what I do. And I definitely want to put out there that this was not a sole, not just my job. There's another agency in town, the ABC House, and without their help, I get to work with them. We put a great case together. Dr. Shervanak over there works miracles. So it was definitely a team effort. But in the end, she remembered my name. So that was pretty special. Well, one, I still think, even though I'm no longer in law enforcement, I do come with that perspective that civilians don't always think about. I'm also trying to get members of my community to be aware of CASA and see, what kind of impact that they can have. This most recent, I'm a big fan of the Growler Cafe in Lebanon, and I approached Chris, one of the owners, and said, hey, I know times are tough right now, but, we're doing a fundraiser for CASA, and I would really, love your support. And he donated a great gift basket. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So trying to reach out to other people to, one, get them aware, because a lot of people don't even know what a CASA is. They don't understand what this whole program is about. And so I got to educate, and then he in kind gave us a great gift basket that we can, what do you call? Raffle it off. That's the word. Raffle it off to someone who's going to love it. Yep, it's awesome for sure. Good food and great beer. Appreciate you letting me have this opportunity to be a part of this new endeavor in this new COVID times. So thank you very much.
Be a voice for foster children.
Help be a voice for children in foster care today.
Tell you to clean this
Away
up!
from me! Get back!
Wipe that smile off your face!
How have you been?
Sometimes I wish I was a dragon. I'd let out all the things that hurt, all the things that don't make sense. I'd burn down everyone, burn down everything. But I'm not a dragon. I'm a little girl. And I'm all alone. I don't remember what they said when they came. I just remember thinking, when something's broken, when you can't fix it anymore, when it's no use to anyone, you throw it away. If you've never fought a dragon, then you wouldn't understand. You can't just leave. You can't just run. A dragon will always find you. A dragon will always hurt you. And the more a dragon wants you, the less anyone else will. New faces, new places.
We're live here with Russ Hedge in Lebanon. Welcome to the show, Russ.
Well, thanks, Josh. Appreciate that.
I'm the new director of CASA of Linn County, and we have our upcoming virtual luncheon, and we'd like to hear from Russ. How did you first hear about CASA of Linn County, and what made you choose to support us with our mission of helping kids in foster care?
Well, you know, it's interesting because we just came out of a chamber greeter meeting, and that's exactly where I heard about CASA. Because of the active, just people getting out there with CASA, spreading the good word. I met several people that were involved with CASA years ago, and that really got me thinking, because the church that I go to already supported foster kids through the Royal Kids Family Camp, and so where kids could go to camp, foster kids. So I started working a little bit with them and with CASA to kind of link them up, and then we started doing lunches, and we started helping out with different events. So yeah, it's been great. Just great people to work with.
Thank you, Russ. I know, and you've been a big supporter of our Lebanon Ask in the past.
Yeah. So I've actually been on the committee now for I don't know how many years. Been able to help out with that, and my team that I worked with previously, they also helped out with that. And so I'm just really excited to continue that and just continue to be able to support their mission, their vision, and be able to support foster kids.
Well, thank you, Russ, because it's so unfortunate that we had to cancel this year's Lebanon Ask due to COVID, and so we're holding it virtually. And for me, I'm so grateful for how you've welcomed me into the community, being new. I just started in March, and it's been huge having you here as an ally and introducing me to everyone and being a part of our events committee for this virtual luncheon.
Yeah, and I really appreciate still being part of that. And one thing that you need to know out there is don't let COVID and the fact that we can't all gather hold you back, because it's still the awesome organization it's always been. So reach out, open up your pocketbooks, and give today and support them, because they need your support. There's foster kids that could not make it without a good CASA to be able to go between all the people they have to deal with. So support CASA today.
And we're always looking for more advocates. We're always looking for board members. If you ever find yourself with some free time, we'd love to have you join the CASA team as an advocate or as a board member. Thank you for your time, Russ.
You bet. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it.
Of all the things I tried, nothing helped me stop the dragons. Not even a little bit. But maybe the most important thing in fighting dragons is not doing it all by yourself. Maybe you need someone to help you through all the confusing things. The things that might seem scary at first, but can actually help you get far, far away from any dragons. Someone who sticks up for you, even when you're not there. Someone who knows where you came from and what you've been through. Someone who's on your side, not just when things are easy, but when they're hard too. Maybe you'll see that dragons aren't waiting for you around every corner. Maybe they don't live in every house. Maybe it's not even your fault they're so angry. Maybe you can stop hiding. Maybe you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to make yourself small. You don't have to always be ready to fight. Because there will always be dragons. But there will always be brave heroes, too.
We're back live at Island Station Media Labs, and I'm Josh Groves, your host. And thank you, Russ, for coming on air today. Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Chanel. And thank you, Karen, for speaking on behalf of CASA of Linn County. And thank all of you viewers for your wonderful comments. And thank you, Dallas Blue Angels, for your huge contribution to CASA of Linn County. I am so grateful for all of your support today to help us with our mission to support children in foster care with the court-appointed special advocate. And because in Linn County, there are almost 200 Emilys in foster care, and we want to help them stay safe, and we do that with CASAs, volunteers who put in just over 5 hours a month to advocate for their best interests. And we have our next training coming up in January 2021. And so if you have a New Year's resolution to help kids, become a CASA today. And I'm here live with our brand new program manager, Paul Britton. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thanks, Josh. Happy to be here.
And we're excited to have you join the team at CASA in Linn County. And you've seen Emily's Dragon before.
That's right. I first saw that film, Emily's Dragon, probably about 6 months ago when I was researching different nonprofit organizations that are targeting, helping kids. And what really struck me about that film was it captured both the, confusion and fright that some of these kids go through, but it also captured the difference that a CASA can make in their lives. Some of these kids don't have any other stable, consistent adult figure in their lives. So just like the film said, CASAs can really be a hero to them.
Well, thank you, Paul. And and these children in foster care, they're the heroes. They're being removed from their homes, their loved ones, and so they're my role models, are these kids. And these CASAs can become role models. How do you feel about joining the CASA team of Linn County?
Yeah, I feel, this is only my second week, but I'm really thrilled to be a part of the CASA Linn County team. I'm a newcomer to the nonprofit world. I was an attorney for about 5 years, and I sort of started getting that pull to do something a little different. And originally, my wife and I planned on becoming CASA volunteers. And before that could really move forward, the opportunity to become the program manager came up, and I couldn't be happier to be part of the team.
Well, thanks, Paul. And Audrey, if you're watching, you can still become a CASA volunteer.
That's right.
Along with your husband, Paul. And Christina, if you're watching, please text me with your name so we can enter to win the Growler Cafe gift basket. And my daughter Mia, or even my daughter Simone, they tell me their joke right now is, what's a ghost's favorite ice cream? Blueberry. And so on that note, I want to thank, if I haven't already, Dallas Blue Angels, H&R Block, Oregon Freeze Dry, the Coastal Farm Supply, Oregon State Credit Union. Thank you all for your contributions to CASA of Linn County, and may we all work together to help children in foster care. And on that note, let's give it to the Growler Cafe gift basket drawing. And the winner is
Oh God! It actually is Dallas Blue Angels.
Dallas Blue Angels. Woo!
Congratulations.
You've just won yourself the Growler gift basket from the Growler Cafe. Thank you, Growler Cafe. You have yourself a Growler, a $25 gift card, a t-shirt, and a custom cutting board. So thank you all for all of your support today, and help us support children in foster care because they need your help. And check out our website, linncasa.org. Like our Facebook page, CASA of Linn County. And thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.